Broadcasting live from our Columbia, Maryland headquarters, they are founders of Hard Money Bankers, REI 360, and are international bestsellers with their book, The Whiteboard. Here are Chris Haddon and Jason Balin.
Hey everyone, Chris Haddon, Jason Balin here in our office to discuss the importance of coaching in business. Here's the weird thing about it. When we grow up, we have teachers, we have sports coaches, we have tutors for whatever. Even as we get a little older, we'll have like an instructor for golf or tennis or for yoga or whatever. However, in business, people feel like, nope, that's the one thing, don't need a coach, got it on my own, I'm gonna nail this one. And it's a big mistake. You know, your business, your career is a huge part of your life. It's your livelihood, you support a family, everything else. It's what you spend the majority of your time doing. And I think it's a real mistake to work without a coach. And nobody's too good that they don't need a coach. I mean, even the best golfers in the world, for example, have a swing coach. And they're the best swings in the world.
I mean,
right?
think about it. Business in general, or your career, wherever you work, is 50% of your life, right? That's just where it's at. You can't just throw in the towel. Like, it's unacceptable to me to be like, nope, I'm good. I don't need help. I don't need help with that. I have everything figured out. And if you do have everything figured out, kudos to you. But I doubt that's the case. So a few things. Chris and myself both have had coaches probably in the business world for about 5 years now, right?
Combined, yeah.
And it did take us, we've been in business for 10 years, so it did take us a little bit of time before that. But I will tell you firsthand the amount of aha moments we've had. And yes, maybe we were naysayers at the beginning of, I don't know, it's kind of expensive. Is it right for me? I don't want to have to talk to this strange person. But we can tell you firsthand that we're here today because of coaching experiences that we've had. And here's a few kind of key things that we're going to discuss in a little bit related to two types of coaching. The one-on-one coaching, if you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, top-level CEO, or salesperson, maybe some one-on-one coaching. And then more recently, we've also dove into some group coaching with the entire staff, our entire community, that's been extremely successful as well.
Yep, absolutely. So there's a couple things that you'll do right away with a coach if you start working one-on-one with one that you won't ever do on your own, in all likelihood. And one of the simple things is putting goals down on paper way out in the future, 5-10 years into the future, and on paper, not just in your head like I'd like to be here or there. And it makes things very different, very real, and as you see as time goes on, achievable. That's one of the first things really noticeable. Another one is they'll put certain nuggets in your head having to do with mindset that you might not arrive there on your own. And there's a lot of them. I'm not going to go into detail about all the different things, but you really start leveling up your mental game by working with a coach.
You think outside the box, you train yourself, it becomes a habit to speak at such high level things on a regular basis. I mean, as business partners, we do that on a regular basis. We're talking through things and all of a sudden something we weren't even kind of chatting about or we meant to talk about, we get out of it. Now take that to another level with a business coach. And let's back up a little bit related to goal setting, because obviously that's the most important thing, because if your goals aren't written down on paper, they're not goals. It's not real unless they're written down on paper. And one real easy thing that we did with our first coach that we had 5 years ago was we did 10-year goals, and then we backed it out to 5-year goals and 2.5-year goals and 1-year goals, 6-month goals, everything down to what has to happen tomorrow. And believe me when I tell you, if you want to hit this crazy, unreachable 10-year goal, what you have to do tomorrow and the next day and even a year from now is so little. Right? It's so little, but you keep it consistent. And, obviously we're such firm believers of it because we hit in 3.5 years, we hit our 10-year goal in a 3.5-year time period just by writing them down, staying consistent with them, talking through them. Some of the goals were easier than others, and we reevaluated them on a regular basis. So many really important things that you could be like, oh, well, these are so easy. I don't need anyone to help me with this, but you do. And, unfortunately, you're a fool if you don't realize that you need that hand holding and you need that type of guidance like you had when you're in grade school and you're in Little League and stuff like that all the way until you're an adult.
Yeah, it's weird how some people think, and I know I keep hammering this particular part of it, but it's weird how some people think like, oh, I definitely need to be taught this, but this over here I got on my own. Like, it's not like anybody gets up and says like, oh, I'm just going to figure out how to dance salsa just by moving around until I just happen into doing salsa steps.
Sure.
You just ask somebody who knows and they teach you. Right?
Exactly. So that's a little bit about one-on-one coaching. It's very, very personalized. One-on-one coaches are very big into doing a blend or combined of your personal life and your business life into one, because it really all should be one. There should be no segregation between the two. If you'd like some ideas of where to hook up with a one-on-one business coach, please comment below. Happy to help you with that. We got some good recommendations depending on what industry that you're in. And a lot of these, our real estate, hard money lending, banker's coach, they didn't know anything about real estate and they didn't need to. Mm-hmm. So don't think that they have to be. We're not talking about like a guru who's going to sell a course. In that case, you don't necessarily need that. They can be in the business or they can be outside the business, because it's much higher level things than learning how to flip a house. Managing employees, building processes.
Believe me, they'll learn your business model because they're good at what they do.
Exactly.
All right, switching gears for a sec, talking about the moving to doing coaching for the team, investing in the team. What we wanted to do after we each had a good 3-ish year run with a business coach a couple years ago, and we wanted to circle back on that, is we wanted to give the same experience to our team and all grow together, to experience some of the same things that we went through with our first coach. And a lot of the same things apply. It's a little bit different too. One of the important things that we all get along the way is the idea of it being a business shrink, almost like a psychologist sort of thing, because you just talk through situations with them, really, like what's going on at work or in personal life or whatever, and they give you such great insight on how to manage these things and to deal with them better and more effectively and grow from it. And I think that's one of the initial reactions I had when we started working with an individual coach back in the day, and also what we've been hearing from the team as we're working through this project.
Just don't use the word shrink, because your staff members may not like that. They may be like, I'm not doing that. I don't need to see a shrink. So if you use the word coach or business coach
or consultant,
that works.
You can call it a coach or a consultant, but if you call it a shrink, people will
that works a little bit better. And honestly, I would recommend that even if you don't have a big team, maybe if it's yourself and one other staff member, or yourself and a business partner, or 1 or 2 staff members, still, there's a lot of things that maybe could help your staff members that they won't open to you about, but they'll open to the consultant or the coach to. And keep in mind, like, when we all do coaching, it's all individuals. So Chris doesn't know what I talk about. We don't know what any of the staff members are talking about. They don't know any of the staff members are talking about, and that's important, because, for instance, if it's I don't like you, that's not really relevant. That doesn't really matter. It's on the coaching on that particular place is, okay, cool. Well, if you don't like that person, let's try to figure out a way around it. Me telling that person you don't like them doesn't do you any good, right? So, this is individual stuff that is getting helped on, and then, obviously that all happens in one kind of circle, and then as you collaborate as a community, as a group, it works. And, I can tell you, pretty much after every coaching session, I have one aha moment. That's usually my takeaway, is I have one aha moment, and then I have 3 actionable items that have to get done before the next coaching call, because I want to make the most out of it. And a good coach will put those actionable items in there, and just by talking through things, and a lot of the aha moments are something I would have never guessed at the beginning, but just from talking with a like-minded person who has my best interest in mind, they were able to get that out of my head of like, well, maybe what you mean is this, and it's like, dang it, you're right. It's exactly what I meant.
Yeah. All right, let's talk for a minute about people who haven't ever worked with any kind of coach in their professional life and want to get started. Now, you don't have to dive in super crazy and get someone who's expensive, because coaches get really expensive. I mean, they're serious professionals. You don't have to go that extreme if you don't want. You can start with somebody, maybe it's like 1 call a month. It doesn't have to be in person. It can be inexpensive. They can be in your industry or outside. I'd probably even recommend outside for a lot of people, just because you're going to get a totally different perspective than everyone else you talk to inside your industry.
And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if they're outside the industry.
No. And I think the important thing is just to get started. Don't talk yourself out of it saying, like you're probably right now saying, I don't need it, it's too expensive, that doesn't apply to me, I got this, et cetera, et cetera.
Like, that's the wrong way to think.
That's a mistake.
Like, you're very limited on where you're going to get to if you believe that. And I'll tell you, go talk to every other successful entrepreneur, business owner, real estate investor that's in your sphere. I promise you they have coaches. I promise you. because they all do.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, we stay in touch with mastermind groups and things around here, and the one factor that everyone has is they've all had some sort of coach to help them.
That's a good point. Yeah. So in essence, take the easy way. Have a professional teach you the things that you need to know. Don't just move around in a circle until you wind up doing salsa, because that would take way too long and be too frustrating, very inefficient.
Yeah, exactly. So again, if you need help either finding a coach, either if it's a transactional coach, to help you inside your business, or on a higher level coach, which was the majority of this presentation today, please comment below. We have a lot of really good resources from companies and individuals locally and nationally. So happy to share that. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. We are here to help, and we really truly appreciate all your support and watching some of these videos. And we're here. If you need anything, comment below.